Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Starting all the way back in September 1971, we have seen it all. These are the newest video games of the beginning of November 1982. And we were last on the Apple II playing Spy's Demise because Softline Magazine had an ad for it. Let's see what our next game is. All right, kicking off with our next game, it is Spy Daisakusen on the NEC PC 8801 home computer. It's time to go to Japan and see the latest video game. This is available on both the 8001 series and 8801 series of games. This front of the box is very, very well done. While it's not a high quality scan, I mean, they boast it's a role-playing adventure game. I mean, you got to check this out. And it looks exactly like, he actually looks like Mr. Phelps from Mission Impossible, because this is the very first time we've played a video game that is taking an homage from Mission Impossible, but not just calling the game Mission Impossible. We played, adventure games that are titled Mission Impossible and Secret Mission, or games that plays as spies, but never where it's actually the TV show Mission Impossible, but it's not real. It's not licensed or anything because, we're in Japan. But I mean, great front of the box. Here's the ad you would have seen in magazines. It's for a lot of other home computers that I couldn't find reference to except right here, where it says it's for all these other Japanese home computers. Even the Sharp MZ line of home computers. And that's about it. We got an example of the screenshot. So not a whole lot of information for this one. Both of these different computers, we're going to play on the newest model, the 8801. Let's pop it and play Spy Daisakusen. This is by Pony Canyon and Y. Takahashi in the beginning of November 1982. This is the very first game that we've seen by Pony Canyon here on Chronologically Gaming. And trust me, it is not going to be the last. There's a lot of games that Pony Canyon has done. This is the sixth game that we played for the NEC PC 8801 or 8001 series. And look, the game's going to randomize because we got a little role-playing elements in here. Let's push return, randomize it up. And they still say role-playing adventure game. And there it is, programmed by Y. Takahashi. It's possible this was Yukihiro Takahashi, but I can't confirm that. We'll just keep it as Y. Takahashi like it says down here in the bottom. All right, ready? Hit S. Everything in this game is going to be in Japanese. And because we're taking an homage from the TV show Mission Impossible, that's right, it says all down here, if your mission, should you choose to accept it, they actually have the recording tape. They're doing the exact same thing they would do in the TV show. This message is going to self-destruct in such and such seconds. It's all right here. So you're getting to play the very first Mission Impossible based on the TV show video game. Right here. It's so cool. And this has a mishmash of genres, too. It has some role-playing elements to it, but it also has graphic text adventure elements as well. All right, so we're going to be playing as Mr. Phelps from the TV show, the leader of the Impossible Mission Force, a group of special agents that operate around the world solving tricky cases. This time, we have to infiltrate a building that secretly serves as a base for enemy groups of spies. We're going to be walking through the building, sort of like it's a first-person dungeon crawl experience. We're going to search through rooms, kill enemies and shootouts, and recover documents if we can without dying. And all these stats right here are going to get randomized every time you play. When you begin the game, they give us status attributes that are determined by things like our hit percentage, evasion, and so forth. At the very, very near the top, the main bar, the blue one at 16, is our physical strength. That's one of the most important ones that you have to look for. So I actually like that we got a really high percentage of physical strength, but you'll have to use a translation because, as far as I know, this game was only available in Japan, only for these home computers, has not been translated, or at least fan translated. If you got one or you know about one, let me know. We might replay it on the show. In the meantime, we'll just do our either Google Translate or rough translation if possible. I know. I wish there was speech. To my knowledge, Curtis, it plays a fake cassette tape and just has the bleeps and bloops, but I don't think they actually have talking. It'd be great if they used the cassette tape and actually had people from the TV show talk to us. All right, here we go. We got our stats. Nice. Now, at the beginning of the game gives us all these stats, but we have to make sure we are buying enough items to carry in the game. So we equip ourselves with a number of different things like weapons, spy equipment, bombs, and so forth. So from this screen, I gotta have a gun. I'm a spy. So let's go with 4. That'll be a P38. And then it asks us how many we want. They have 2 available. I'll take 1. I only do 1 gun. And this reminds me of when we did inventory systems on other adventure games back on the Apple II and other home computers in early 80s, 1980, 1981. We go through this menu system. This is the first time we've seen anything like this in Japan. Up to this point, we played a game called Omotasando Adventure, which was a straight text adventure game on Japanese home computers, one of the very first you could play. This one is a lot more involved. All right, so besides the gun, we also need to buy a suitcase. You have to have a suitcase before, or you won't be able to finish the mission at all. So they don't even provide you that. All right, so let's take a suitcase. We only need 1 of those. And then we also have to have a document recovery kit. It's a must-have or we can't finish the game. So we'll take 1 of those. Number 11. I'll take that one. And you know what? It's Mission Impossible. Let's take a disguise kit. No, not that. Go back. And I'll take 1 of those. You know, so we can go in and out of disguises and put masks on our face and so forth. No, Brad, I am not. I'm going by memory. There's a great walkthrough that I checked out before doing this live stream. I'm going to include that link down below of someone else playing it. They're going to get further than we did in the game because the game is random. There's sometimes that you can be locked in not be able to finish the game. It's also very difficult because you're going to be firing off your shots, quote unquote, and it's random if you hit a target and if you kill them. All right, we also need some ammo, so let's get some of that. I'll take 12 bullets, please. There we go, and I believe we're done. So that's it. So we got all the items we need for this time. It says, is this what you got? Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. All right, so the ultimate goal is to make our way through the building and escape alive. Battles of enemies are easy. They can kill you really fast. This is our controls. We're going to be using the number scheme to be moving around. Everybody got it? Let me see, 4, 6. Okay, there you go. We're in. We're ready to play. We have to be careful during our run because all the rooms and enemies are randomly generated before you play through. So you can't really map anything out in this game. You just kind of go as you want. So as you can see, I'm moving myself like flip screen from one room to another. And oh man, I don't know if I want to go inside. This is the first door to try to go in. You can see here's the hallway, and then every time that you want to make a step, it asks, it shows you where you are, your position. So you can see I can go to the end of the hallway. We're lined with a bunch of doors on either side, red doors. Each one of those doors is where there are operatives you have to take out and then get the documents. So I can go into one, and it says asking us, do we want to go in? Yes. And then it's asking us, are we sure we want to enter this room, and then proceed from there. So this is going from room to room, and we'll try our first battle. It's asking us what we want to bring into the room. Well, I'll bring the gun, that's for sure. And ready? Looks like this room doesn't really have anything. We'll go with that one. Excellent. All right, so we didn't die. That's good. So what you just experienced was a battle. The battle is essentially, it shows us a small grid on the outside of which enemies are in the room. We only had one. We shot him, we got him, we didn't die. All right, so we'll say, and you doing to take the document? Yes. No, wait, yes. Do I need to capitalize it? Oh, there. There we go. And that's essentially the whole game. It's a blend of a text adventure game with graphics and a little bit of role-playing elements tossed in there, but it's a lot of randomness, so there's not as much skill. Seeing that we played first-person adventure games like Phantom Slayer, where you're doing a dungeon crawl, moving around and actually get to shoot stuff, more action-based, it's not as crazy impressive. In Japan, this would have been awesome, being able to be a spy and go from room to room and pretend you're doing that kind of thing. But the first-person perspective is heavily inspired by wizardry. I noticed when I'm going down the hallways as a dungeon crawler, that's kind of what it feels like. It really doesn't feel like a spy game at all. All right, so yes, I will. All right. Oh, did we? Oh, we did die. Never mind. I thought we survived. Maybe someone should translate that part. I thought we made it through the battle, but it looks like we did not. Okay, so then they're asking us again what we want to buy. This time I'll just take a gun. I'll take one of those. And it does have permadeath as an element of the game. Notice that when we died, we lost everything. We start all the way from the beginning again. And as you go through this game, you'll realize you have to hit every one of those doors, all red doors in the hallway, finish all enemies, grab all documents, then you can go to the end of the hallway where the elevator is, and then make your way to the next area. Yes, very, very hard to play. Brutal. All right, so let's say we're done with this one. And there's going to remind us, okay, we got a gun. Oh, I didn't get any bullets. Yeah, it's not going to turn out so well. And then it says, good luck. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of luck for sure. Okay, there you go. We're back in the hallway. If you try to go to the end of the hallway, that's the first mistake most people will make. They'll try to go to the end door, green door of the elevator, and nothing happens. They can't go through the elevator because you have to finish every single room around the outside. All right, so we got 6 floors in this game, 10 rooms in each floor. Depending on our performance and how well we do, we'll get points for accomplishing our goal, making out of the building alive. And then I believe there's another recording at the end of us being a good enough spy or playing well enough. But it has lots of elements that are new for Japanese home computers. Permadeath, role-playing elements, the random elements generated in the game. This is keyboard-controlled only, too. So there's not a whole lot of interaction that you're going to have, no controllers and so forth. But I do get the dungeon crawl vibes from the game. And I'll just stop there and say there's the quick taste of Spy Daisakusen. Of all the games you could play right now across all home computers, it is a novelty that this is a Mission Impossible game based on the TV show Mission Impossible. But as far as gameplay goes, it's not as impressive as some of the other ones we have seen around here. I'd say because mixing the two elements and the spy theme is fun, but as far as what you get to do in the game, it's fairly average for everything you could play up to this point. Oh, Ariel's saying if it was English, 3.5. Yeah, you would have a fun time being able to, plan out what supplies you want to bring to the game and so forth. And I see a 2.5 to 3, very hard to play. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's probably really hard to do a Google Translate while we're playing this live show, but if you want to pause and Google Translate what was happening, go for it. Yeah, it's still very hard to gauge unless you play it yourself. For my playtests, going from room to room, it's random and it's based on your inventory. Do you take the right items? Do you take enough risk, before you go into different rooms? Because you get a chance to bring your energy back. But because of the role-playing element mix, I'm actually going to go one higher and say 3.5. Yeah, if it was in English, this would be an excellent, a pretty fun game to play. So 3.5 stars for Spy Daisakusen. All right. After that, let's go to this commercial break.
Imagic makes some of the toughest games for Atari's video system.
Ooh, the toughest, right?
Because they're created by experts. Meet the inventor of Star Voyager, Gorp.
Oh, how'd you do?
Gorp
Did you say
made
Gorp?
Star Voyager just like his journey to Earth.
Hi, Mommy.
There were enemy ships, meteors.
That looks tough.
He even had to go through
Whoa.
stargates to get here.
You missed it!
It's the Demon Attack monster.
See if you're good enough for Star Voyager.
Star Voyager, now available at all Highland superstores.
Nice. It's the let's make the game really difficult, and that's going to make you buy the game. We're really excited for the game. This is Star Voyager for the Atari 2600, the latest video game by Imagic. Here's the box for Star Voyager. This is a reconstructed one that makes it look kind of shiny like you would have seen Star Voyager back in the day. And not to be confused with Star Voyager for the Apple II from 1979. This one is only on the Atari 2600. It is the 178th game we've played on the Atari 2600 up to this point. Front of the box is so good. I love Imagic and their box. And this one is sci-fi themed. That really looks like a mix between the Millennium Falcon and someone going to teleport you in. I know, right? The alien's really cool in the commercial. Yeah, I like that too. This is the 12th game we've seen by Imagic. It's the 8th one that they've done for the Atari 2600 up to this point. Let's flip it over the back. They give an example of the screenshot. 1 or 2 player game, and they got some fun game modes for this one. I like the box already. Here's the other artwork for Star Voyager. Besides the box, we have the ad you would have seen with the other games. We've seen all of them. Demon Attack, Trick Shot, they're all great. Trick Shot is actually impressive for a pool game. I mean, but Imagic does some really quality games for home consoles right now. Oh, I know, right? I wanted it too, Marshall. We'll see when we go in. There's the cartridge for Star Voyager. And we also have an example of the screenshot. All right, we have the manual for Star Voyager 2. It'll tell us how to play and how you first think by the screenshot and the gameplay that this is like Star Raiders or Star Master, but it's not. It is a very different game. Returning from secret diplomatic mission, the Astro Cruiser Star Voyager has a mission. Zakor has been betrayed the new treaty. We have to smash the Zakoran blockade. Zakoran? I don't think they said the name of the alien race in the commercial. So there's the game objective. We're going to pilot the Astro Cruiser Star Voyager through treacherous space. Over on the far side, shows everything we need to know on the screen. Enemy ship, our sights, lasers, the radar screen, and it just gives me all those vibes of Star Raiders or Star Master, those kinds of games. Instrument panel on the bottom gives about all the valuable information you need to know. And then we have over here on the side, the console controls. This one has some interesting ones. It uses a few of the switches that the Atari 2600 usually doesn't do. You can hit the game select switch to choose 2 games. 2, that's all. That's all you get. You can hit the reset button, and the red button begins the game. Piloting your Star Voyager, this controls like you're doing a space combat game. You move the joystick to climb and dive and move the reticle around. We have radar, star patrols, enemy ships, and the radar shows approximately where your location is, to the center at least, and it explains how to use the radar screen here. After you finish and blow up all the enemies, then you have to get your cursor or your crosshair lined up to the star portal to warp to the next level. And then we have enemy ships that are going to be red. We can fire white pulsar bombs or lasers. So there is a difficulty switch. There's 2 of them. We can use one difficulty switch to make the game fast or slow, and the other difficulty switch on your Atari 2600 switches between the lasers or pulsar bombs. Yeah, so you can switch between the weapons. It's so cool. Yeah, there's an example of what the photon torpedo. Wait a second, is it pulsar bombs or photon torpedoes? Which one is it? Over there it says, okay, they're just mixing up all kinds of sci-fi jargon at the same time. Oh man, yeah, right? They definitely had quality control for that one. And you think that it's a space battle. It's more of it's just a bare bones action space combat game. There's the speed changes that you can do, audio signals, how it scores, getting all the point values over on the far left side. What is really unique about this is the multiplayer mode. You can do a normal 1-player game, but if you do a 2-player game, you got 2 options. You can do a 2-player game because it uses both joysticks. If you are using one joystick and as a 1-player game, then when you push the red button on your joystick, it fires lasers. And then the other joystick, when you push the red button, fires photon torpedoes. So if you play with 2 people, someone could be controlling the other joystick and then flipping the weapon switch. So they could be the weapons officer, doing all the weapons while you're moving the crosshair around. The other idea is you can do the 2-player game, the other game mode, where you play as the normal ship, but your other player gets to be the opponent. They get to fly the enemy ships around. Great idea. And then you can also do a training mode, which is a cool idea. You do the 2-player mode and just don't have a second player there. So all the enemy ships are sitting ducks. Then it has some great tactical tips for us. Magic did an excellent job yet again with the manual, explaining what the game is, talking about what the game's about. Nice. We got a few versions, CCE in Brazil, PAL regions as well. We're going to play the very first one. This is Star Voyager by Bob Smith and Magic in the beginning of November 1982. There it is. Look, it's already flying and makes you feel like you're playing Star Raiders. So Bob Smith, this is the fourth game we've seen by Bob Smith after Video Pinball, Sleazy Adventure, and the really good one, Riddle of the Sphinx. That one is fantastic. So it's let's just go right into the game. Let's do the first player mode. I'm going to get both joysticks plugged in so I can shoot off both photon torpedoes and lasers at the same time. So we reset. Actually, if I show you, there's the radar down at the bottom of the screen. And if I have game modes 1 and game modes 2, I don't have a second person to really play against me, but we'll do game mode 1, hit reset, and then we are in. I'm following the radar at the bottom. Got photon torpedoes here. If I flip my difficulty switch on the right side, then I can make it lasers. Lasers use a lot more energy though, but you can see how fast they are. You want to be able to blow up every ship, get it in your sights. Yeah, very satisfying. You hear that tone, and that means it's time to warp. So we have to get the warp within our sights. I'll keep flying toward it. Nope, come here. There it is. Oh, I almost had the warp. Let me see if I can get this guy. Oh, no, we need to switch. already died because we ran out of energy. So while this game plays like what you'd expect it to be Star Raiders or Star Master, it actually is just straight action space combat. You're just flying through space, destroying the enemies. When you do, then you fly through the warp, then you continue to the next level, more enemies, and just keep repeating. How long can you last? There is no way to switch between the quadrants you're playing as. Let me switch to these and use less energy. But you have to really kind of time your shot to make it work. Cool effect, though. It uses less energy, but it's harder to aim and get the enemy to hit those. Great. And if I want to flip the other difficulty switch, I can speed this sucker up. At will, let's just warp and go faster. Oh, I guess I got, yeah, there it is. Slow it down. And the other white shots that we see are the enemy shots. There we go. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell, too, Psychosis Mania, it's done very, very well. And it still feels very, very good as a space combat game. It just doesn't have the strategy elements that you would have expected from other games at the time, and it doesn't have as much depth. And there's our other death, right? Yeah. Can we? Oh, we can still fly. Yeah, go, go, go. Get me over there. I want to be able to go all the way to the... They haven't shown us where the warp is yet. I'm just flying around, but it still has a great feel to the controls. Oh, yes, we did, Manly. That was one of the best ones. Of all the games we played up to this point, it doesn't have as many elements as some of the other space combat games up to this point. We played 37 other games that are just straight space combat games. So the best ones you could play on home consoles right now would be like Space Attack or Space Battle or Cosmic Conflict or Starship or Outer Space. That's the really old school ones. Some of the best ever space combat games you could ever play on any system right now are games like Space Seeker in the arcade. I know this can't hold a candle to the arcade games, but also Hadron on the Apple II, Starfire in the arcades, another really, really impressive one, Stellar Escort on the TRS-80. So you're better off with other games that are more like simulation style. Here we go. Now we found our warp. Let's go. Phaser Patrol, I think, is the one you were thinking of, Manly. Phaser Patrol is the top tier of the best of the best. And Star Master, I would say, is a little bit better than that. Oh, I want to be able to blow them up. So we went to the next stage, but it's just straight space combat. And some people could prefer this to Star Raiders or the other games that have the strategy elements, because there's no reason to fly to different quadrants of space. It's just blow people up from the cockpit. I like that when you die. It's quaint. Also, if you're not a fan of the Star Trek variant style games, then you wouldn't get a whole lot out of this one. But then again, if you're just wanting straight action and just fly around and shoot things, it's great. It plays well. But even then, when we include all the games right now on home consoles, Phaser Patrol, in my opinion, is the best of the best. Even the space combat style, from the first-person perspective, it does a great job. Yeah, and there's the space warp tunnels that we're talking about. I'm still missing them? Whoa! If you don't aim them just right, then you won't be able to travel to the next stage. Alright, we're doing really good. Hitting the enemy shots, too, will also help you keep your energy down. But you can see they're firing from really far away, and you have to be ready. See, it's coming at me now. Got it. There we go. Nice. There's another one. Got it. And you gotta make sure you line it up just the way it's right in the center of it. And if you do it right, then all your energy comes back to 99. Cool. There's a taste of Star Voyager. Very well done, Magic. Whatever your flavor, if you want to do strategy or just straight action like Star Voyager, this is still great. I would still say of any space simulation or space combat games on home consoles, the best of the best is Phaser Patrol right now. Right before that, I would say Star Master by Activision. And then this is around the same degree as Star Raiders that was brought to the Atari 2600. So I'm looking over the chat. I see a 3.5, a 4-star. Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, that's what we need. All those in one game would be awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to say 4 stars still. This is excellent. You would have a lot of fun with it. I want to keep playing it. And that's always a great sign for home console games. All right, after Star Voyager, we're not done. Let's see what our next game is. Oh, that sound means it's time for another Star Trek variant. This is Super Star Trek for the Fujitsu FM7 home computer in Japan. Oh man, more Star Trek for you. Here's the box, or one of the boxes. You can see it says FM8 down at the very bottom. Super Star Trek is... Actually, we've already seen games that were called Super Star Trek on the Commodore VIC-20, on MS-DOS, and we've actually seen this version already on the show on the Fujitsu FM8 in 1981. Some sources say it was just called Star Trek, but now that it's on the newer model of the Fujitsu home computer, it's the Super Star Trek. So this is the third game we've seen for the Fujitsu FM7. And the front of the box is... I can't even tell that it's Star Trek. It looks more like action, right? That's right, James. We're going to have a lot of those. There's also another cassette that I found that has Super Star Trek for both the Fujitsu Micro 7, Micro 8. And so this one's a little more boring. I prefer the shooting things up. And the magazine ad that I did find actually shows the screenshot of what it is, what the cost was, and the other computers it would be possible for. And there it is, an example of the screenshot. You played one Star Trek, you played them all. We have a few different versions, but let's just see what happens when we try to play Super Star Trek. This is by Tsukumo Dinky in the beginning of November 1982. Oh, they did a little bit of the drawing, too. I don't know if you saw it there. That was a nice touch. And there it is. Destroy 29 Klingon battlecruisers in 30 years, but now we're doing it in Japan. I know, we're going to see lots of... It's funny playing video games where there's not a lot of games starting with Super. It's actually refreshing. So this is the fourth game we've seen by Tsukumo Dinky, and this is the 60th Star Trek game. Thank you, 1971 mainframe Star Trek. Now, the reason the game is beeping at us is because this is a real-time simulation of Star Trek. Not the first. We've seen Star Trek variants that are real-time. This is around the 8th game we played that's like this. So it's really everything we've seen from Star Trek games. If you look here right above my head, it's showing our position on the galactic map, and then we have our short-range scan showing us E as the Enterprise. Everything that's stars or asterisks, I think those are just the stars. It's also great when we get early Japanese home computers that are not doing Japanese text. Everything that we're seeing is in English because most of these computers started in North America and then they were shipped to Japan or built in Japan. Okay, so yeah, it's full strategy game. You pick the command you want. Nothing's happening right now. Let's go ahead and warp to another quadrant. So we'll hit 1. Let's go ahead and go position 3. So we'll head north and warp 2. And you watch the E go up. Oh, wait, we hit a star. we couldn't warp up because E for Enterprise got smashed by a star. Okay, so let's try it again. Warp. Let's go ahead and warp. We'll go 5 and then warp 0. Can we do warp? Oh, I guess warp 0 is cancel. Okay. I was like, warp 0. We'll do warp 1. And we're blocked at this star. We smash into it. We can smash into the stars and bounce around. That's funny. All right, so let's go again. Warp. No Klingons here. Let's go south to the galactic map. So we'll go position 7, warp 4, engage. You see it travels us down to the next section. Any Klingons here? No, there's absolutely nothing here and no stars. All right, so let's warp again. We don't need a damage report. Let's warp to this position and warp 4. You can see we fly off the side. So we're flying around the galaxy. We're looking for Klingons and we're blowing them up. This is Not really a one-to-one of what you would have experienced mainframe from 1971, but it's close. This is pretty close. And Errol, great question. We don't cover or play the Plato systems or mainframe systems here on the show just because I couldn't get everything to work on all those systems. However, home computers, I can get a lot of home computers to work and do what they're supposed to. So most of the time, I'm just referencing mainframe games or referencing games on other terminal or systems like that. Oh, yeah, right? All right, so there's still nothing here. All right, let's warp again. Where's all the Klingons around here? Every time you play this, it is random, so you don't know what you're going to get every time you play. All right, so let's go warp 2. Fly. My little E flies on the side. You can see on the galactic map, I'm now way in the bottom left. Okay, so still no Klingons here, just a few stars. Okay, let's warp again. So we're just using energy up to this point. It's bringing us down just a little bit. No way, the Klingons are cloaked? It's not very accurate to Star Trek. That's the Romulans that can cloak themselves. We have to get close enough and then the Klingons come. We should be able to see them. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we have to play against cloaked Klingons. It's terrible. And I hope we didn't get any damage flying into stars. All right, let's keep going up. I'll just smash into this star. Warp 1. Yeah, blocked by the star at that sector. It is very much like we're playing the strategy games we've seen. These are the Star Trek games. And we're going to be seeing them all. I really wanted to hit a Klingon, though. Obviously, we're playing like with ASCII or text characters for the graphics. And whenever you do attacks, it's not going to really show that much. We played some really good Star Trek games up to this point. This one is not very impressive. All right, let's go with warp. Let's head to the right and engage. Oh, really, Curtis? Well, because it's super Star Trek. So hopefully it is accurate. Nope, still got nothing. Let's keep going to the right. I think that ends where we were before. Warp 2. Short range. Uh-oh. Our short range sensors are damaged, which means we can't see over. We're totally dark from that side. All right, I'll just stop there. There's the quick taste of Super Star Trek for the Fujitsu FM7. So this one is a real-time game, which kind of bumps it a little bit higher than some of the other games we've seen for this point. But I would say this one is around the same range as the Star Trek that we played for the ZX Spectrum by Chromasoft or Star Trek for the Coco that we saw by Tom Mix Software. Obviously, from watching this quick showcase, you're not going to get the best example of what the game is going to be like unless you play it for yourself. It is, I'm seeing some lower ratings or around the average ratings for everything you could play. I actually think this is pretty close to Super Star Trek and Vic Trek that we played on the Commodore VIC-20. It's really close to that kind of level. So I'm going to say 2.5 stars for all the games you could play across all home computers right now. The best, though, if you want to play really good Star Trek, the best is Videotrek 88 on MS-DOS, Star Trek 3 on the TRS-80 color computer, Galactic Attack, Space Warp on the BBC Micro, or if you want something that's close but not quite this much strategy, do something like Star Raiders. Then you can never go wrong with those. All right, so here we go. 2.5 stars for Super Star Trek. And live long and play lots and lots more Super Star Trek style games. Well, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. Thanks so much for joining me on my crazy quest to play and check out every single video game in chronological order, all systems, all regions, all over the world. We want to see it all, and especially by the time we finish 1982, we're going to see everything from the backlog as well. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, swarms of insects invade your VIC-20, another arcade game for the Piuta, and what's better than Zaxxon? Super Zaxxon. That's it for today, and like I always say, I think I'm learning Japanese. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will